Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to unveil the mystery of Natalie. Get ready for some surprises. The subtitles document shows Natalie's normal, implying Dr. Lawrence's justice may be flawed. However, all she did was simply compile the opinions of specialist doctors into a single document to prove that Natalie had reached adulthood, yet the feedback she received from everyone she visited along the way was consistently, "She's still a child. We remember it very clearly." The doctors were unanimous. Natalie is definitely a child, with one even secretly saying, "I personally wrote to Natalie, including plenty of little knitted wreaths." They bluntly said they didn't care her thoughts. Did Natalie know? Sure, she's 8. I wrote a letter and sent an urgent one to Marion County Hospital, just to say, if my son told me this would happen, I'd have to send him to the... She was reignited, and wow, the plot twist is really something. The truth is gradually surfacing too. But they still lacked the key piece of evidence showing that the Christians knew Natalie was a child, otherwise they could just dump all the blame on Dr. Laura. Getting them to admit their feelings is harder than climbing a mountain after all. Who would admit to being a killer? Suddenly, Les learns that the Christians had divorced. Meanwhile, Mike's back in America, and they parted on good terms, but alas, Mike got the short end of the stick with domestic abuse charges, so he revealed that Kristen had abused Natalie, and on stage, all those troubles tied together, making folks clutch their hearts. He attempted to pin Mike's crimes on his ex-wife, but ironically, it actually allowed her to regain custody of her son. His wife reminded, becoming an accomplice is bad, so he teamed up with Kristen again. Dale said we would lose because the public only loves the perfect American family. A legendary media battle was underway, and at that moment, I really didn't want to admit anything. My husband and I broke down in 2014. We stayed in Canada for a year, but it was 2010. I just found Natalie's head back in 2012 when she snatched my son's toy car again in 2012. She tried to pull me through the window, which was so cool. I was having coffee, and that was in 2009, the innocent bystander. And before long, the Christians were arrested. Subtitles: Natalie ultimately decided to voice her opinions in front of the public, but as soon as she stepped on stage, the host posed a sharp question: were you a con artist at the age of 22? Or were you just an 8-year-old kid who died? If it were before, Natalie might have thought about it, but now she firmly tells everyone she's just an 8-year-old, and those murder accusations against her are completely ridiculous. Hey, weren't you in Kristen's calf? I was just cleaning the kitchen, just like she told me. I left my soap bottle in her calf, and she started shouting. Kristen was like, you pulled her through the window. That woman got all broken down, and then she started yelling. I pulled her in. Our lawyers were chatting over there. What a spicy affair. All these stories were solely made up and slandered by Kristen. Initially, Natalie was just part of her plan, all to paint herself as a parenting expert by rescuing disabled kids. After all, her success with her eldest son boosted Kristen's confidence sky high, but over time, she realized she just couldn't cut it as a role model mom. On the flip side, Natalie was in terrible health, needing tons of surgeries just to ease the pain, so Kristen started plotting to get rid of this girl, cooking up a shocking conspiracy. When the host asked Natalie what her wish was, become a kid again, but deep down she knew, at 16, she lost her chance to be a child forever. All she wanted was justice. She wanted the Christians to pay for it, but for 2 years, this case was left hanging. Obviously, differing accounts made truth unclear. The Christians' good image faltered in media. While the media earned them some online supporters, Natalie's stance grew stronger over the years. And in just 2 days, it was trial day. He was approved as a key witness, becoming a top priority. First, we have to figure out that those artists are unreliable socialists. Plus, we need to prove you're a good family, trying hard to support your incompetent adults. Whether it was the school, the first foster mom, the psychiatric hospital, or even neighbors, all testimonies were against them. At this moment, Mike's lawyer secretly told him that if he dared to stand up against Kristen, he could get immunity, exempting him from all parenting punishments. The key was Kristen, so another tough choice lay before him. If he lost, the kids would lose both parents. Just then, the key evidence appeared. Both lawyers dug up the chat records of the Christians, filled with harsh insults directed at Natalie. Also, Kristen's previous insults to Natalie would put her in a tight spot in court. Just then, an even bigger headache showed up. Natalie's biological mother from Ukraine. She had abandoned Natalie listening to the doctor's lies, but now stood up to deny Natalie was an adult, holding hospital records and birth certificates. Using immunity turned out to be Mike's only choice. I read it, then went to find a case, and the next day, this highly publicized custody case officially opened. The defendant's attorney proudly announced that Mike and his wife had deemed Natalie an adult.